My grandfather was born in 1884, so that seems like a million years ago. And so things were a lot different. Children had a lot of work to do and not a whole lot of time to get into mischief. But occasionally they did. Now, my grandfather, his dad moved around a lot, and so he was in different places. One of the places that he was at was in Philadelphia. And one day, the parents were gone. His dad was at work and his mother had gone shopping. And so my grandfather, who was probably about 8 at the time, and Harold, his little brother, who was 4 years younger, tried to figure out what they could do in an upstairs apartment because they had been told, don't go out of the house. And so they obediently stayed in the house. But their mother was gone long time to little boys. And they tried to think of something they could do. Well, as they looked around the house, they found some small paper bags. Now, back then, paper bags were a lot thicker than paper bags are now. And so they put some water in the paper bag, twisted the top, and the window was open because it was summer, and they waited until someone walked by, and then they let it go. And of course, Ed, my grandfather, had a wonderful aim, and there were a lot of wet and angry people down below. Well, every time they let it go, they went down to the floor so they couldn't see him. And they were very upset, though there were a bunch of people looking up toward those windows and yelling and hollering when their mother came home. And she saw this group of people looking up to their apartment windows. And she thought, oh dear, I wonder what's going on. So very quietly, she went up the stairs, very quietly opened the door, and peered in, just in time to see Ed take one of his paper bombs and drop it down, and then collapse on the floor so he wouldn't be seen. The fun part of it was hearing the people yell. Well, it was his turn to yell, as you can imagine, when she got a hold of those two boys and gave them both a spanking. And that was a funny story that I enjoyed when I was a kid. And I determined I'd never do that. I didn't want a spanking.